Now let's move forward and see more examples of server-side controller. Let's say we have a scenario that we need to pull in some records from our Salesforce org and display them to the user. Okay, so we can take any object, standard or custom. Let's say we take opportunity here and we need to pull in opportunity records and display them by making use of the out of the box Aura colon iteration component, which will help us to iterate through that list and display whatever we want from that list. Okay, so for that what we will do, we will create a custom controller and I will click on File, New, Apex class here, and let's say I name it Opportunity Controller. Okay. Okay. OPP Controller. So we can use this as a controller into our component. How? Controller equals to OPP controller. Okay, so we have seen this before as well. OPP controller is here. Now we also need to specify with sharing to enforce the security and sharing settings for the user. Now let's create a method which will pull the opportunity, store them into a list and return back the list of opportunities. So it will be public static, return type will be list of opportunity, and let's name it get opportunities. Okay, make sure you type in all the bracket, otherwise you will unnecessarily see silly errors there. Lot of time people miss this error, miss this bracket, and then the error in the console will show them in the later line somewhere. So it becomes difficult to identify where the error actually is sometimes. So list of opportunity, let's create a variable opportunities equals to select ID comma name from opportunity. If you want, you can specify a limit as well here, maybe limit 5 records, 6 records, whatever you feel like, and semicolon, statement close, and simple return opportunities. So what we have done here, we have declared a variable of type list of opportunity. We have queried the records from opportunity ID and name and return the opportunities. Okay. And as I told you before, for this to be enabled with Lightning component, this is a simple Apex class. But this to be compatible with Lightning component, to be used into a component, we need to add an annotation Aura enabled. Okay. So Salesforce has provided this annotation so that the transition from Salesforce Classic to Lightning becomes easier. You can see it in that way as well. Now we have created our controller, assigned the controller to our component. Now let's create attribute into our component. Let's say I create an attribute Aura colon attribute name equals to, okay, let's say we name it opportunities, and type will be a list of opportunity. So we can simply say opportunity and like this in array form. Okay, and type equals to will be there. So it will be a list of opportunity type, this attribute. And let's say we create a button so that on click of the button, the opportunities are displayed, otherwise they are blank. So UI colon button, label will be, let's say click me or click to get opportunities, whatever you feel like. And on press, we need to call a function which will actually call the method of the opportunity controller. And this we have done earlier in the previous video as well. This function, this method will be declared in the JavaScript, which is the client side controller, which will call the server side controller and do the various functions which we need to do. So here it needs to be an expression c.get. The function method name is get opportunities. So I will simply copy it so that I do not make any typing mistake. bracket close, inverted quote close, and the tag is closed here. Okay, and now, so we have called this method. It will return us this ops this should be the function which we will write in the client side controller. Okay, this is not directly linked to this, so we will call this function. This function get ops will be written in the client side controller. Okay, here it will be get ops. So this is this function, which in turn will call the server side controller. Okay, and then what we want to do, we want to display by making use of aura : iteration, the out of box component which will help us to iterate through the list. Let's declare a temporary variable here which will iterate through the items, and that is opportunities, and this has to be a expression. So expression would be like this. On close. Okay, and then what we want to display, let's give it some break. We want to display, so we have queried ID and name. So let's display the name only, opt.name, and let's give a line break after as well. Okay, so till now you must have understood what we have done. We have created a controller which queries the opportunities and assign it to a list of opportunity and then returns that list. And in our component, we have declared an attribute of type opportunity list. We have a button. On press of this button, a function will be called which we will write in the client side controller. And once we get the opportunities back, making use of the iteration component, we will iterate through that items of list, and OPT is the temporary variable, and by using dot notation we can access the values of this list, and we have queried only ID and name, so we are displaying the name of the opportunities here. Okay, so in the next video we will define this function get ops into our client side controller.